Well, hello. Apparently, we're starting in 7 seconds. I think I might have clicked the buttons in the wrong order. So we'll do a little test while we're here. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to this live lesson where instead of teaching a specific topic, I'll be taking your questions. If you're wondering why there's no specific topic this morning, it's because I had a busy week. A little bit of a crazy week, and I didn't really have time to get a lesson put together. So I thought I would just do a question and answer lesson. It sounds like everything is working right. I'm sure Dave will let me know if things are working properly, and all of the other regulars who are here as well. As you can see, or maybe you can't see, let me see here. Let's go to this. Oh, that's a little bit bright. The sun is coming out. I should probably adjust the brightness of this camera just slightly. I'll turn it down a little bit because it looks like when I adjusted it this morning, let's see here. Where do I want to go? That's probably about right. When I adjusted it this morning, it was a little darker outside. So as you can see, it is a beautiful Friday here. I'm in a pretty good mood because it's a holiday. I don't have to go to work today. I can just stay home. I might do an hour live stream. It might be an hour and 10 minutes. If I don't drink enough water, it might be 50 minutes. We'll see. But yes, no topic today. Live lesson. You can ask me questions about the English language usually using the form that is in the description below. And once again, if you look in the description on Facebook, if you're watching this on Facebook, there is a link there as well. So I'll try to answer questions from people on YouTube and from people on Facebook. Let me see if there are questions. Oh, I should say some other things. Hi, Dave. I didn't text Dave yesterday, so I'm glad to see Dave here. I wasn't sure if he had plans for today. By the way, it's Good Friday today. It's Easter weekend here in Canada. So Good Friday is what they call a statutory holiday. That means everyone in Canada gets the day off. So it's kind of fun. Hello to Noriko and Know That. Francesco, Cecilia is here. Good to see you. Sita Bittencourt is here. Know That. Mode Eggs is here. Awesome. Sorry I didn't chat with you before the lesson in the chat. I was a little busy. I was saying bye. Jen's heading out to go buy some flower stuff this morning. So I was saying bye to her. Hi to Vitor and Ralph and Key Park. Good to see you, Key Park. Sophia, Lolly, Hafiez, just scrolling back. Wanda Prado is here as well. Saregi is here, or Saregi. Freddie Wolf, Paco-san. Lots of familiar names. Hi to everyone. Let's get the lesson started. Let me find the first question, and we'll get that up on the screen. I might just do one more little audio check before we get started. Excellent. Okay, here we go. Where do I click? What do I do? Let's see if I can answer this one. This one looks a little bit challenging. Hi, I'm Bob the Canadian. Welcome to this. I'm reading my own thing. One sec here. From Renata, good morning, Bob. Which of these grammatical structures sounds most natural to you? They both sound okay. I'll read them now. I prefer doing this to doing that, or I prefer to do this than to do that. The first one flows a bit better. Both are completely correct. If there are two things that you want to do, but you prefer one, you would say, I prefer doing this to doing that. And you would need to be able to point at the things with that sentence, right? I prefer doing this, a live stream, to doing that, which would be like digging a hole with a shovel. Or I prefer to do this than to do that. Yeah, both work. The fun English language. From YouTuber, how does having a YouTube channel help you? Well, I would say this. There's a couple of things, and I'll teach you a few phrases here. It helps me to express myself creatively. I like to make things. So I like to think of English lesson ideas and then create a video out of it. So it's a creative outlet for me. And also, I'll be honest, I make a little bit of money from doing YouTube. I like that as well. I think most people like to be rewarded for work they do. And so for me, doing YouTube provides me with a small amount of income, enough for me to teach a little bit less than full time and to be able to do this, which I enjoy doing. So that's how it helps me. That's what I would say. From Yarrow is here. Morning, the wisest teacher, Bob. You wish you a great Easter holidays. Can you talk a little bit how to improve speaking without a tutor? Be well. So first of all, speaking English with another English learner, even if you're both beginners, can be very helpful. So you don't need an actual tutor. By the way, I do believe finding an actual English tutor that you pay to help you is probably the best way to improve your speaking. But again, you can talk out loud to yourself. You can describe the things around you. You can read a book out loud. You can watch a video and hit pause and then repeat what the people in the video are saying. You can do that with my videos or other English teacher videos as well. So those are a few things that you could do. Let's see here. Gergo says, hi, Bob. Thank you for the answer for my question, which was in the last video that you uploaded 2 days ago. No problem. My question is, what is Bloom's taxonomy? So I don't know this off the top of my head, but it has to do with education. Bloom's taxonomy. It says, let's see, cognitive, affective, and psychomotor learning. Wow, I'm not going to be able to explain this in a YouTube channel. But basically it says it's 3 models used to classify educational learning objectives of complexity and specificity. Okay, too challenging of a topic for Bob the Canadian this early in the morning. If you're a teacher, I'm sure you would enjoy reading about it. So, sorry, I'm going to move on from that one. Differences. How are youngsters and elderly people different? Well, kids need a lot more help. Although elderly people need a lot of help too, don't they? Yeah, in some ways, they're a little bit similar. But older people would be wise. Young people would be naive. Older people would be, they would have a lot of experience in life. Younger people would have less experience in life. Older people would know how to do a lot of things. Younger people would be learning how to do a lot of things. I hope I'm not answering a test question for you. I hope that you're not taking an English test and that was one of the questions. It kind of sounded like that. Let's see here. From subject, do you think there is a subject which is more important than other subjects? History. No, but I would say in a modern world, the most important subjects would be learning some science, some math. Here we have classes called English classes, but they're actually for you to learn how to write and to understand classical writings, to do a lot of reading and reading comprehension. In North America, we say there's the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. It doesn't start with an R, but certainly it is important to know how to do those things. Yes. Let me check my question feed coming in here. I feel like, yeah, anyways, I'll leave it be. I feel like someone is asking multiple questions using a similar format. So I'm not sure if someone's flooding the question form, but I noticed this last Saturday as well, that there are questions where the person asking it uses a single word. But anyways, they're good questions, so I'll keep answering them. Can you name some of your subscribers? I don't really know any of my subscribers personally. What that means is I haven't talked to any of my subscribers in real life. I have talked to Brent from Speak English with This Guy, and I have emailed people like Mike from Teacher Mike English, Lucy from Learn English with Lucy. Her and I emailed back and forth and did a video together. But in terms of my actual subscribers, those of you learning English, I really have not. So let's see here. From Vlad, hi Bob, can I improve my fluency by speaking to myself and of course thinking in English? Yes, you definitely can. It is important to spend time every day using your voice to say English words, even if you're not in a conversation. It connects your brain to the muscles in your mouth that you use to make that word. And I think even just saying words out loud, especially if you have like flashcards with a picture of the meaning of the word, I think all of that is very, very helpful to improve, because it's all about speed of thinking, right? You're trying to develop a really fast speed of thinking. So that's, I think that anything you can do with speaking is helpful. So, oh no, Mr. Bob, what happened to your poor plant? Did you forget to water it? Another crime, LOL. Thanks for doing a live lesson despite being super busy. Love you. Yes, no problem. So, there's a couple ways to answer this. One is if you're talking about the plant that was here, that plant was not getting enough light. My room, my studio office is a little bit dark. And so we moved it to the kitchen. So it's still alive, but it's spending a little bit of time in the kitchen right now. If you're talking about the plant in front of me outside, which I don't think you are, there's a couple there, they're just waiting for spring to come. So you can see the lawn is starting to turn green. But I do believe Mode was talking about the plant that was right there that I was very proud of a few months ago. And now it has been moved to a better place. Let's see here. Next question. Tips. See, this is from the same person. I can tell. I sense a pattern here. Humans are good at recognizing patterns. Did you know that? We're good at pattern recognition. But anyways, they're good questions, so I'll keep answering them. Whoever you are, asking me lots of questions, thanks for the good questions. Please don't overdo it, though. Tips. Do you have any suggestions for upcoming YouTubers? Yes. Here's my advice that I give to anyone that asks me about doing YouTube. I say the first thing you should do, it's not about buying good equipment. It's not about having the things in place that you need to edit it. The first thing you need to do is you need to have good ideas. So I usually say this, think of 20 ideas. If you can, think of 52 ideas for the videos you are going to make, and then make one of those videos every week for 20 weeks or for a full year if it's 52 weeks. I find the biggest and most important thing about YouTube is consistency. And the hardest thing for most people who do YouTube is coming up with ideas. And do remember this, if you start YouTube and you just copy other people's ideas, you will always just be a version of them. You have to find a way to be a version of yourself on YouTube. That's a little bit philosophical there as well. Next question from Utsul. Hi, dear teacher Bob. Could you tell us a little about the work you are doing or will be doing on the farm these days? Best regards to you and your family. Bye. Sure. So yesterday, Jen and I went to a place to pick up dahlia tubers. Dahlias are something we grow on our farm, and we don't, the only way to get new varieties is to buy more tubers in. So yesterday we went to pick those up. We are doing general cleanup. So in the winter, sticks fall off, branches fall off of trees, those kinds of things. If you look, let me get the, so if you look ahead on the picture below, there's a couple things of white plastic. Those are mini greenhouses, and they are on peony rows. So we're trying to get the peonies to grow a little earlier, a couple of rows, because we have to start market in a few weeks. So we've put some plastic over top, and this will help them to grow a little quicker than the other ones. So that's what those white things are. We put some hoops in the ground to hold up the plastic, and then we covered it with plastic. So that's a few things that we're doing on the farm. We also went and bought dog food yesterday. So it's just a small thing that we're also doing. From answers, why do you answer our questions? So one of the reasons I do this type of English lesson, when I was learning French, I would read the textbook and it would tell me some things. But sometimes I would find strange things that I didn't understand and I didn't have someone to explain it to me. And I think for you learning English, you can watch videos on YouTube. You can read an English textbook. You can do a lot of things, but you still are going to have a few questions. So I do this live stream to answer some of those questions because English is somewhat of a strange language. I don't know if you've noticed that yet, but English has some unique qualities. Let's say that. Let's see here. Ario says, "Hola, Mr. Bob, how are you? I've watched the video on Japan is back to normal. What is your opinion about that?" So if you're talking about the pandemic, I think we are definitely close to getting back to normal. Countries are starting to remove their mask mandates. We haven't had to wear a mask in Canada for quite a number of months, since probably a year ago or something like that. I remember the day at school where we were told we didn't have to wear masks anymore. That was very nice. So anyways, and I think they're about to say that we're no longer in an emergency situation with the pandemic. So Sarah says, "Hello, Teacher Bob. I am glad to join you. How much is the income tax in Canada and what kind of other taxes are there? Thank you." So the more you make, the more you pay in Canada. If you make a lot of money, you pay about 50% tax. I think that's about the highest you would ever pay. But most people pay about 20 to 25, maybe 30% tax on their income. The less you make, the less you need to pay. If you only make $10,000 or $11,000 a year, you don't have to pay tax. But most people make more than that, and they end up paying 10 or 15 or 20 or 25%. The more you make, the more you pay. Let me see here. If you are one of the 330 people watching on YouTube, thanks for being here. That's awesome. And thanks to Park for the super sticker, #1. Thank you very much in the chat on YouTube. Very cool to see. If you're one of the 36 people watching on Facebook, welcome. You're probably wondering what this is because this is something new on Facebook for me. If you ask a question, I will try to answer it. That's how this works. Let's get back to questions though. Speaking of questions, let's get to the next one. I want to keep moving. This is a misspelling, regrets. We're just going to remove the letter A. Do you have any regrets? Not really. What I will say though is this. I started my YouTube channel in 2017. Later that spring, I started in January. Later that spring, I got sick. I got a blood infection. And so I stopped doing YouTube. And then I started doing YouTube again in February 2018. And then later that spring, I had heart surgery. So I stopped doing YouTube again. So I do always wonder if I hadn't had those problems, whether my channel would have grown more. It's not a big deal. I'm very happy with the size of my YouTube channel, but that would be one thing where I often wonder, what would that have been like? Yes. From Kurdish, if you weren't living in Canada and still in the Netherlands and you start learning English, which accents would you choose and why? I'm going to add a would there. Oh, that's an interesting one. I think it would depend on what my intentions would be. If I was, by the way, I was born in Canada. My parents were born in the Netherlands. They moved to Canada. But if I was born in the Netherlands and I was deciding to learn English, I would most likely learn Canadian or American English because a lot of people from the Netherlands moved to Canada. There would be a strong likelihood that I would have relatives in Canada or in the United States. That being said, if my plan was to go and work in England or in the UK, I would probably focus on that accent because they're much closer. So it would really depend on why I was learning English. That would be the big thing. Let's see here. From Natalia. Hi, Bob. Hi, Natalia. I am in a metro. I'm in the metro or a metro and changing the line. The place where I am in is a crossing or a passage. What do you call my action? Thanks. if you're getting from one train and going on to another train, because I don't live in the city, I can't think of the word. If it was an airplane, it would be a connecting flight. But if it's a train, we might call it a stopover. You take a train and then there's a stopover. Maybe Dave knows a bit more about this. Maybe Dave's big city experience is more than me, but we might call it a stopover. It's not a layover. A layover is when you're on a plane, it lands, you stay in a hotel, you get back on and you go again. At least I think that's what a layover is. But yeah, I don't take the metro very often. So lolly lolly. Bonjour, Bob. How do you celebrate Easter in Canada? And do you eat something special during this week? Merci. We do not eat anything special. Because we have time off, we generally see family. We'll probably at some point visit Jen's family later today or Sunday or something like that. But no, we don't have a special Easter. It's not like Christmas for us, Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, yeah, Dave's saying it's the place where you wait is called the platform. I agree. But yeah, I'm not sure we're going to be able to answer that question. So anyway, so nothing special, Lolly, other than it's a bit of time off. Let's see. From Ruslan. Dear Bob, I'm using in my daily routine BBC Learning English application. So we're going to add a the there. The BBC Learning English application. What do you reckon can I grow up with it? And should I stick this way to develop my skills? So the BBC puts out a lot of really good materials. I've always said this. Using one thing is never a good idea. You should use a variety of things when learning English. That's why when people ask whether Duolingo is good or not, I always say, yes, it's one tool of many tools you should be using. So I would say the same thing, Ruslan. It's one tool of many tools you should be using. You should still be finding a speaking partner, watching YouTube English lessons and regular YouTubers as well. Thank you so much for this super sticker. I can't pronounce your name, but I see the super sticker there. Awesome. Thank you very, very much. I do appreciate it. Let's see here. Why don't you guys have a look at the river cam while I have a sip of water here. And I'm going to check a few things as well. I'll remove my face so you can get a beautiful view of the sky. And I'll keep talking, but I'm just doing a bit of an audio check to make sure that everything is working properly on both platforms. I'm pretty sure it is. So yes, it definitely is working. It does look nice outside. I don't know if you've noticed, but the river is quite flooded right now. So if you see on the screen there, the river is normally not that high. We've had a lot of rain lately, and so it has jumped its banks and it has flooded just a little bit. Okay, let's get back to questions here. From Bassam. Hi, Bob. I have a question. I'm going to add an a. I have a question. What is the best way, I'm going to add a the, to improve my English accent American, or my American English accent? Well, you need to listen to a lot of American speakers. You need to mimic how they say things. One of the ways to do that is something called shadowing. So play an American YouTuber and hit pause and then say what that person has just said. And do try to mimic. You know how you can pretend to have different accents in your own language? I'm sure you know how to do that a little bit. Try to, when you mimic, you try to sound like someone. So do the best to mimic someone. That's what I would say. So Hafiez says, Happy Good Friday, Coach Bob. I heard you say statutory holiday earlier. What is the meaning of that holiday? Is it the same as the bank holidays in the UK? So I think so. Let me take a look here of statutory holiday in Canada. So statutory holidays in Canada are a mix of cultural, national, or religious legislated public holidays at a federal or provincial level. So basically, we have statutory holidays like Canada Day, where we celebrate Canada, Christmas, Thanksgiving. These are holidays. And then what's meaning of bank holiday Canada or in UK? Yeah, because we do have holidays where not everyone gets it off. Yeah, I think in England you might call them bank holidays. I don't know if they're exactly the same, but it does sound similar. Mode in the chat says, I believe the way you use Duolingo makes all the difference. You can make the most of it by reading everything out loud and using the stories, and maybe also listening to the podcast. That's a good point, Mode. So Duolingo, when it first started, was just an app where you could practice, but eventually they added podcasts where you could listen. Some of them are really good, by the way. And then they do have stories where you can, they're almost a little bit interactive, where it's a story that's being read to you, and then you add things to it as well. But I like Duolingo. I think it's cool. Again, one of many things you should do, not the thing you should do. I'm going to skip the next one because it has kind of a strange word in it, Mike. So I'm going to leave that one be. If you ask in the comments below, I will explain those. Let's see here. Ulia says, what is the difference between the words embodiment and epitome? Epitome is hard to say. We're going to look these up so I get them right. Meaning of embodiment. Let's see here. A tangible or visible form of an idea. She was the living embodiment of happiness. So it's when someone or something is a visual representation of a feeling or something. So let me see. Yeah, it's a little difficult to explain, but epitome will be a bit easier. It means the best example of a person or thing that is a perfect example of a particular quality. So I would say something like this. Well, we'll use their example. She was the epitome of elegance and good taste. So she was like the best example of that. Let me do something here. Those are pretty advanced words, though, not used that often in everyday English speech at all. But good to look at anyways. Tanya, or Tanja, probably Tanya. Hi, Bob. Do you have any travel plans for the summer? And have you ever thought about doing a few mini lessons at your vacation area? I'd love to see more of Canada. So Jen and I live a unique life. So I'm going to talk about 3 things about my life. Number 1, I'm a teacher. I work from September till June. Jen is a flower farmer. She works from April until October. So our busy times of the year overlap, and it doesn't allow for a lot of time for vacation. In addition to that, we have a number of children to take care of, and they're at the age now where they have jobs and they're in clubs and they play sports, so they're quite busy. So if we go on a holiday, it's usually just a day trip at this point in time. We might try to go on a holiday later this year. If we do, I probably won't make an English lesson while I'm on the holidays because I'll probably want to avoid, I'll want it to be a true holiday if I do go on one. But my dream is that Canada, the tourism Board of Canada hires me to go to all the beautiful places in Canada to make English lessons. That's my dream. I haven't applied for that job yet, but I do keep mentioning it. Maybe they'll call me someday. Fred, the French guy, not Freddie. Fred, very formal, short form. Hi, Bob. I saw a video recently that teaches the bad words, not to use them, but to avoid them or by not pronouncing them. Would you mind doing this kind of lesson? Possibly. We'll see. I like to make sure all of my lessons are what's called safe for work or safe for school. So it kind of falls outside that category. I want English teachers to know if they want to use one of my videos, they don't have to worry. I won't say things that are not appropriate for a workplace or for a school. So Sita, thank you so much for the super chat. A small gift to thank you for everything you do. Thanks so much for your dedication. You are welcome. I do enjoy doing this. So, but back to the swear word one, Freddie. I don't know. I'll think about it. But I'm not sure how. I would have to really think about how to do that delicately, because we do this in, like, when I teach French at school, I do not avoid the swear words because I think it's important for students to recognize them. You need to know what they are. You don't have to use them, but you do need to recognize what the swear words are. Hey, we're going to go into members only chat mode. Let me get that set up. This is for people who are members on YouTube. So if you are a YouTube member, for the next 10 minutes, you can ask questions directly in the chat and I will answer them. I will keep answering questions from the form as well, but I'll just take a sip of water here and then I will start to answer from the chat. I'll start by scrolling back a bit. Let's see here. People are chatting. Sita says, I love Duolingo, talking to Mode, but I think for advanced learners, it's not useful. And then Mode replies, totally agree. I never use it for English. My only experience with Duolingo was for learning French, and I liked it. Yeah, it does. The only use it has for an advanced learner is I think it's worthwhile doing the entire tree as kind of like, in the computer game world, we would call it a speed run. A speed run is when you play a video game that you've played before and that you know well from start to end as fast as you possibly can. So a speed run in a video game, if you take that concept to Duolingo, if you're an advanced English learner, I would say try to do a speed run. See if you can finish the entire English Duolingo tree in 90 days or 60 days, or I don't know if you could do it in 30 days, but try to do a speed run. That would be cool. Yaroslav says it's a year actually. Woohoo. Hey, that's awesome, Yaroslav. Thanks for being a member for a year. That's very, very cool. Hey, I'll do a question from the forum, and then I'll do a question from the chat. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube members can ask questions right now. I haven't figured out how to set up Facebook so you guys can ask questions if you're a member there. From Zarif, hello, dear teacher. How can I improve my speaking skills in an easy way? So I don't think there's an easy way. I think most things you do when learning English that are active, where you're creating output, have a certain level of difficulty. It's very easy to do some of the passive things. It's easy to listen to music. But I would say with speaking, you need to be deliberate. That means you need to plan to speak every week. You need to make sure that you get feedback from your speaking, at least a little bit. That means if you have a 30-minute conversation with an English tutor, at certain points you want to freely have a conversation and not correct your errors, but you also want to have some conversation where the tutor does correct your errors. But if you're looking for things you can do every day, again, read out loud, shadowing, play a video or audio clip, hit pause, say what that person is saying out loud. Describe out loud everything you're doing. This is called narrate your life. So you're talking about what you're doing as you're doing it. Those are simple ways to do it. Let's see here from the chat. For Easter in France, we eat lamb and lots of chocolate. We do have chocolate at Easter. The chocolate companies sell a lot of different kinds of chocolate at Easter. Easter eggs, chocolate bunnies, those kinds of things. Know that says to Dave, in the first place, I hope to get better in writing. Good plan. Harry 300, Duolingo, Elsa, and many more. But the only application I often use to learn English is YouTube, though. Haha. YouTube is, here's what I like about YouTube, Harry. You can watch an English lesson, but you can also very quickly just watch an English-speaking YouTuber who's not teaching English. Like it's nice if you watch one of my videos, you can also, let's say you like photography, you can watch a video from an English-speaking photographer. So it's kind of a nice platform because you can find things that are fun and enjoyable to watch. Let's see, Yaroslav. It's snow here, not Easter weather. What type of weather do you like, Teacher Bob? Well, I will say this. Winter is ending here. If you look at the outside here, You can see that there, the snow is gone. The grass is just starting to turn green. If you look beside the bush, you can see the daffodils actually have little buds at the top, so they might open soon. So what kind of weather do I like winter, but I'm ready for it to be over. I'm definitely ready for warmer weather where it's nicer to be outside. Mode says, Mr. Bob, you could have just called off Friday's lesson and enjoyed your long weekend, but you wouldn't do that now, would you? Because you're an awesome teacher. We appreciate you, Mr. Bob. So yeah, like Jen and I talked about that yesterday. I just said, I got behind this week. We had a few things to do yesterday for the farm. And I just said, part of the live lesson is my lesson, but part of it is it's fun for my members and other regulars just to hang out with each other. So I knew I would be up early because Jen needed to be up early. And so I thought, you know what? I don't have time to make a lesson on a certain topic, but it's pretty easy just to do a live lesson. Just hang out, chat for a bit, answer some questions. It gives me an opportunity to help you, and it lets you guys have some time to chat with each other. So yes, I could have called it off, but I'm not sick or anything. I like to save like not doing a live stream for times when I'm sick. Busy is one thing, but sometimes when I'm sick, it's nice to say, hey, no Friday lesson this week. So I'll save it. I'll save that for a sick day. Freddie Wolf, I just saw a report on the region of Quebec and Ontario where the trees are breaking under the weight of the ice and the electricity is going out. I hope you won't be affected by this phenomenon. So a storm came through, and from north to south, we were in the middle, and it came as rain and some wind. To the south of us, the winds were much stronger. To the north of us, there was a lot of freezing rain, snow, and things get damaged when that happens. So we were thankful that we were in the middle of the storm. We did get a lot of rain, which is why you can see that the river is flooded quite a bit. That's about as high as the river gets. But yes, we were thankful that we were not in the middle of it. Let's see. From Harry 300, what place did you come in? Does it sound natural? Yes. I want expressions related to asking about someone's achievement in a competition. Can you give me the one you often use in that context? So if someone goes to a tournament and they're on a team, the next time you see them, if they say, I played in a basketball tournament, you would say, how did you do? That would be how you would ask that. If someone was in a race, you would ask exactly your question. What place did you come in? Or did you place in the top 10? Or how did you finish? So if I knew someone that was running in a marathon, I would probably say, what place did you come in? Or how did you finish? And then again, if it's a team, how did you do? Did you win many games? Did you lose all your games? Those would be a few. But you know what, Harry, that would make a good lesson at some point, wouldn't it? I'll think about doing a sports related lesson with some of those phrases. Key Park, I believe there is not an easy way to learn a language. I think, to me, there's no easy way, but I would say the nicest way would be to live in the country where that language is spoken as a young person in my late teens or early 20s. To me, that wouldn't be easy, but if I was 20 years old and I wanted to learn a language, I think the best thing to do would be to go live in that country for a year or two, because you're young. You don't have as many obligations in life. If those of you watching are wondering what I'm doing, I'm answering questions from members in the YouTube chat. So sorry they're not on the screen if you're watching on Facebook, but that's where we are. Know that says to Dave, thanks. It's always good to have a goal and to stick to a plan. Yeah, I would agree. That's very helpful. Marwanto, hello, Mr. Bob. Nice to meet you in April. Yeah, good to see you, Marwanto. A nice April day. Mode says, I heard Brent use federal bank holiday to refer to a holiday where everyone gets the day off. Statutory might be a Canadian term. I believe it is, yes. I think in the States, they would say a federal holiday. I wonder if they have state holidays. Yeah, I don't know a lot about that. Sita says, Mr. Bob, I don't mean to tell you how to do your work, But some teachers on YouTube made videos on bad words in a polite and respectful way. I found it useful so that I don't use bad words by chance. Yes, I would agree. It is very important because one thing you don't want, let's say you visit an English-speaking relative in an English-speaking country. You don't want them to play a trick on you and teach you to say words that are actually bad words so that when you use them, they laugh at you. I'm sure no one would do that. One of the reasons why you want to know what the bad words are in English is so that you don't get tricked into using them. Let's see here. Mode, I'm just curious, Mr. Bob, have you watched the movie Interstellar? Did you like it? Have a sip. I loved it. Yeah, Matt Damon is in that movie, by the way. But mostly it's Matthew McConaughey, right? Traveling through the multi-dimensional. No, it's not multi-dimensional, but yes, I loved it. I might actually watch it again soon. In particular, I liked the silver robots, and they had 4-letter names, each of them. I can't remember them. They would change so they could walk and so they could run. And in the one scene with the big wave, the robot's carrying the girl, I think. So Interstellar, yes, good movie. Also, there's corn at the beginning, isn't there? Isn't he in a cornfield or something? So, yeah, I might watch it again. I might do that this weekend, actually. It's been a number of years. I have to wait before rereading or rewatching something because otherwise I remember too much of it. For me, with books, I can wait about 10 years and then I can reread a book and I enjoy it again. With movies, I can wait 3 or 4 years and rewatch it. So, Freddie Wolf. In the east of France, we have chocolate bunnies and chocolate eggs, but how can bunnies lay eggs? That is the big Easter question. I don't know. Park. Hi, Park. Teacher Bob, it's the first time I attend your live stream. I study conversation from a Philippine teacher online twice a week. Is it helpful? Yes, definitely. Anytime you can have formal instruction to go along with your informal instruction, it's helpful. The teacher can help you with your pronunciation. It's a good time to practice your conversation skills. They can give you homework. It's not nice to have homework, but they can tell you things to do specific to the areas where you have weaknesses. That's one of the things that's difficult when you're teaching yourself. You may not know what areas you're the weakest in, but a teacher or tutor can say, hey, you're having a little trouble saying the letter D or the letter T or TH, and they can give you things to do to practice. So very helpful, very good. Eugene says, nice weather today. It is beautiful. It's a nice day to have a holiday, Eugene. I hope you're having a nice day up there in Toronto, Etobicoke. Tanya says, is there also kind of an Easter ritual in Canada that the children blow out eggs and paint them? Yeah, we don't do that as much. I did that as a child at school, where we got eggs and we poked a little hole in each end, and then you blow out the inside and then you dip the egg in different paints. We didn't do that with our kids, but yes, that does happen. Yaroslav laughing with Freddie, and Eugene says, I just bought a new espresso and cappuccino maker for my kitchen. I'm sure it smells delicious there. Hey, I'm going to turn off members only chat. Thank you so much to those of you who are members. Let's get back to subscriber mode, and let's get back to the questions from the general population. Once again, if you are a member on YouTube, thank you for supporting my channel. And if you are a member on Facebook, some of you are members over there as well. Thank you for being members. That is awesome of you. Let's see here. Just checking a couple things. If you're one of the 47 people watching on Facebook, hello. If you are one of the 349 people watching on YouTube, hello as well. Don't forget to click that subscribe button to get notified when I do a new lesson. Mode says, thank you, Bob. No problem, Mode. Let's get another question on the screen. Let's see here. Key Park, I have a question about the tax of Canada as well. We pay a lot of tax. I think you have to pay tax for your income from your land, but do you have to pay tax for your land? So there are a number of different taxes in Canada. Income tax is what you pay on the money you make at work. When my work gives me my paycheck, it's electronic, but when they send my paycheck, there are deductions. One of them is federal tax. One of them is provincial tax. So 2 different taxes come off of my paycheck. We also pay sales tax. When you buy something at a store, there is 13% tax on everything you buy in Canada, except for groceries, I believe. Groceries, some groceries do, some don't, but most don't. And then we have what's called property tax. So if you own a house or you own a farm, you pay property tax on that area. So it's, so we sell flowers, we make money, we pay income tax on that money, but we own the farm and we pay property tax for the farm. So yes, Canada, we have lots of taxes, but people are generally paid a pretty decent wage or salary, and we have free healthcare. That's what I always say. That's the best part of all of it. Val, hello, Bob. Should I start sorting out the American and British spelling of words, or is there no real need for that? I just learn whatever new word I come across. So 2 things about that. Generally, it depends on why you're learning English and how you're going to use it. If writing is going to be an important part of how you use the English language, learn the spelling for the people you're most likely to communicate with. If you're doing business with people in the United States, learn the American spellings. For some people, though, writing is a rare thing to do. For me, I do quite a bit of writing for my job, but Jen actually doesn't write very often. She'll send emails, but beyond that, writing is not a very common thing for her to do as an English speaker. So she relies on spell check and uses, of course, North American spellings. Canada, we add U's to some words. So yes, it really depends on who the majority of people who you are communicating with. From Khalid, hi Teacher Bob. How long does it take to learn grammar? So I'm a little fix there. How long does it take to learn grammar? Thanks for your answer. So I always say it depends, and it's not a very nice word. What I would say is this. It's important in the early stages of learning a language to understand some of the grammar, especially the confusing parts. How long does it take? It can take a long time to understand all the ins and outs. It might be easy to learn how to conjugate the 10 most common verbs. It might be hard for you to learn how to use phrasal verbs correctly. Some advanced English learners still struggle with some of the advanced English concepts, like a compound sentence which has a subordinate clause. That can be very challenging. It's a lot easier to use simple sentences. So it depends. That's my answer. It depends for sure. Sita says Brazil has lots of taxes too, Mr. Bob. Yeah, I think most countries do. Let's see here. Mode says hi to Ario. I didn't know about Japan's situation with the pandemic. Was there a recent wave there or what? I think Japan just got rid of the mask regulations in some areas, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. The only information I have on Japan is when I watch PewDiePie's videos. That's the only information. That's where I get all my Japan information. From Muhammad Ali. Hi, Bob. How are you doing today? I'm doing well. I am great, thanks. So my question is, can I learn English by just textbooks like English files? Thanks again. Good luck. So I'm very much a believer in you become better at the things you practice. And not everyone in the English teaching world thinks the same as me. Most do. I think if you practice reading, you get better at reading. I think if you practice writing, you get better at writing. If you practice listening, you get better at listening and understanding. And if you practice speaking, you get better at speaking. So if you are learning just from books, you are most likely getting a lot better at reading and possibly writing. If you're using audiobooks, you'll get better at listening. And if you are doing some kind of speaking activities like reading out loud, it will help your speaking. But you will only get better, in my opinion, at the things you practice. So please try to practice everything. From Zahir, hi Teacher Bob, can you learn English from videos perfectly? So let's go to the river cam. Jen's heading out. I think she's getting picked up by someone. She's just going out for an hour. They have to pick up more. So I know I stopped mid-sentence. Spring is about picking up tubers, bulbs, seeds, all of the things that you need to grow things. So that's Jen's focus today. So hi, Teacher Bob, can you use videos to learn English perfectly? I think, again, videos are one tool. And going back to the last question, videos help you understand what someone's saying. It's very good for your listening. If you're using subtitles, maybe it's good for your reading, but probably won't let you practice your writing or speaking very easily unless you're intentional. You can practice your writing while watching a video by trying to write down what the person says. You can use it as a dictation. Hit listen, hit pause, write down what they've said. You can use it to improve your speaking by shadowing, listen, hit pause, and say what they've said. So it really depends on what you do with it. Going back to what Mode said about Duolingo, you can find ways to use Duolingo that go beyond just its basic teaching, right? Like you can read things out loud, you can use the podcast, you can use the stories. So always look for ways to use something to its fullest. From Sean, hey Bob, how much time do you spend reading books every day? As a person who rarely reads books, how do you develop the habit of reading? So I've probably told this story before. When I was a kid, my mom loved reading. My brothers and sisters loved reading. And we went to the library every week on Saturday mornings to get books. So it was just something that my family did normally. I also really, really enjoyed it. So I was taught that reading is fun and good. It was modeled by my mom, but I also have, I just enjoy reading. So if you don't read a lot now, here's what I would suggest. There is something in life that you are interested in. Maybe you like growing flowers. Maybe you like dogs. Maybe you have fish in an aquarium. Maybe you love cooking. Start reading books or articles or magazines about the things you like. Okay, that is the best way to start to enjoy reading. From there, maybe start to expand. If you start by reading recipe books to cook things, maybe eventually read a story about a chef. So that would be what I would say. Use your interests as a way to start to get excited about reading, and then do the reading in English. I think that was obvious, wasn't it? Let's see here. Harry 3 times 100. Who is this? Could this be Harry 300? Bob, what's the difference between the rope is about to break and the rope is about to be broken? And he was dead yesterday and he died yesterday. So, first of all, from number 1, the rope is about to break is probably the most accurate and best way to say it. The second one, the rope is about to be broken, it's correct, but it sounds a little awkward to me. Like there's nothing wrong with it, but it sounds a little bit strange. So I would say choose the first one. Should we wave bye to Jen? Let's see here. Oh, we can't see her. She ran away. I can see her. She just jumped in her friend's vehicle. So anyways, let's get back to this. Number 2, he was dead yesterday and he died yesterday. These are actually 2 different things. Okay. So if you say he was dead yesterday, he might have been dead the day before. He might have been dead the week before. You're just simply describing that he was dead. It's kind of an odd thing to talk about. He died yesterday means at one point he was alive yesterday, and at some point something happened and now he is dead. So those have slightly different meanings for sure. Let's see here. Alexi, the Far Easterner. Hi, Alexi. I hope things are going well for you at home. Hi, Bob. The phrase no problem in response to gratitude sounds a little strange to me. Like, why the problem? Can I say the phrase not at all in the same sense? I would probably say this. If someone says, hey, thanks for that, I would probably say, yeah, I might say no problem. Yeah, we do. It is strange. It's something younger people say, and it has two meanings, right? It also can mean yes. So if someone said, hey, can you help me out today? I need to lift a bunch of heavy things. I might say, yeah, no problem. In that situation, it means, yes, there is no problem. But yeah, we do sometimes say that, right? Thank you, no problem. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. Thanks, no problem. Yeah, there is no problem. I think it's just become one of those English phrases that has a meaning which isn't related to the actual meaning of the words. But would I say not thanks? Not at all. No, I would probably say, if someone said thanks, I'd say you're welcome. Thanks, no problem. Thanks. It was no big deal. We say that as well. Hey, it was no big deal. Thanks for giving me a ride to work. Hey, it was no big deal. Let's see here. Abdallah. Hi, Bob. How are you? What is your opinion about ChatGPT? What can it do? Well, here's something fun you can do with ChatGPT. This is something that I think English learners can do. If you say to ChatGPT, write a story and then choose the 10 most difficult words and create a dictionary with those words at the top, it will make like a little English lesson for you with a little dictionary at the top and then a little story. So that's kind of fun. And there's a lot of other things too. I think Hadar has a really good video on how to use ChatGPT. If you could head to her channel, maybe Dave can find that. It's Hadar, Dave. Hadar teaches English. She's a great English teacher as well. Let's see here on YouTube. But she does one on how to use ChatGPT. It will even correct your mistakes. Like you can say, let's have a conversation. You pretend to be a doctor and then correct my mistakes after we're done talking or something like that. Eli, I've been trying to learn English for 2 years. So a few fixes. Now I can't speak because I forget the words always. Yeah, this is a tricky one. There's a couple things that happen. When you're in an English conversation, you can be nervous. When you're nervous, it's easy to forget things. So one of the best solutions is have specific conversations where you know what the topic's going to be about with someone who's willing to have that conversation with you. So here's a better example. If you hired an English tutor, I'm always going on about this, sorry. You could say to them, I'd like to have a conversation about dogs and cats next time we talk. Then you can prepare yourself for that conversation. And then you can make sure you know the words that you want to use. And you can even have them on a piece of paper while you're having the conversation. I want to talk about collar, leash, dogs, puppies, cats, kittens. And even though that's not a real English conversation, it's a practice conversation, it will be very, very helpful. Let's see here. Mode says, yes, that second sentence sounded unnatural to me as well. Good ear. That's what we would say. You have a good ear, Mode. Yeah, it wasn't wrong. This is going back a few. It wasn't wrong. There was nothing grammatically wrong. It's just not the way we would say it, which makes English tricky, right? Mode says, I heard some British people expressing what Alexi just said. I guess no problem as a reply to thank you is more common in North America and among younger people too. Yes, definitely. Yep. Thanks. No problem. Yeah, even older Canadians say it. I'm just thinking through my week at work. We would say it. Yeah. So Dave has the video from Hadar that I was talking about. So she talks about ChatGPT. Great video there. Eugene says, my daughter has joined a French speaking club. She went to a coffee shop every Saturday. Yeah, clubs are cool for learning languages. Easier to find clubs in cities like Toronto. because we are a country where we have a lot of immigrants. There are a lot of different languages spoken in Canada. So it's probably easier to find a club for that kind of thing. Let's see here. Arena. Bob, please give me a suggestion of how to become an advanced English storyteller because I am a librarian. Well, tell a lot of stories. Again, I'm a little bit old school or old fashioned in my thinking. The more you do something, the better you'll get at it. So do spend a lot of time reading out loud. And then also, you have to learn how to read upside down, right? Because I'm looking for a book, if you're wondering what I'm doing. I don't have a book around me anywhere. I had a book somewhere. I have a lot of... What is this? Oh, I have a old photo album. Whoa, special time for you guys. Let's see here. I have to find a page where it doesn't give away the secrets of my life. Sorry, I just got lost looking at my old photo album here. Wow. Let's look at this page. So this is so when you're a librarian, you have to hold the book like this while you read it. By the way, these are old pictures of the farm. Probably won't focus on them. This is back probably when the house was new, almost in the early 80s. But as a librarian, you need to learn to read so the kids can see all the pictures. Although you're saying advanced English storyteller, so you might be reading to adults. I'm not sure. But yeah, do it a lot. And if you can, do it where someone can give you some feedback. They can tell you if you are doing a good job or things you can do to improve. RO, hi. Usually I can speak English quite smoothly for a second language. When I have sleepless nights, I can't speak it all of a sudden. Is it natural to experience that? Yes. So, as you know, I have a French conversation with my friend in France every Wednesday or Thursday. If I don't sleep well the night before, I can only use very simple French sentences, des phrases très, très simples en français. If I have a good night's sleep, c'est pas difficile du tout pour moi de parler français. Je peux parler couramment, pas de problème, des idées, les choses, les conseils, les choses comme ça, la philosophie. So when I probably made 3 or 4 mistakes there, French speakers, sorry about that. I always apologize for my French. A good night's sleep is not required for you to be able to speak your native language, but a good night's sleep for many of us is very important to be able to speak our second language. So yes, it's very, very natural. Yes. Tu as raison. En français, on dit tu as raison. C'est très difficile. Il faut être plein d'énergie pour penser et pour parler une langue différente. Yes. I was going to say ouais. Does that sound Québécois? Sorry about that. Anyways, yes. Good night's sleep. Always an important thing for sure. Let's see here. From the chat, Mode saying, I really hope next time Mr. Bob shares a photo of him when he used to ride a motorcycle and had long hair. Yes, those photos are hard to find. It's nice to have lived before the digital era because the photos only exist in a photo album somewhere in a box. So it's not like they're on Facebook or somewhere easy to find. Ario in the chat says, yes, Mr. Bob, I'm lacking in reading, but I try to. The reason I'm not reading stories is because it's boring. I'd rather watch TV shows or movies than reading. We're in common, Mr. Brent. So, yeah. So, Ario, you do like Pokemon, though, and you can get Pokemon books, right? That's probably the best place to start, I would say. Read something that you're interested. Lolly says, wow, I am impressed. You are fluent in French. Pas exactement. Il y a des jours où, quand je parle français, je peux pas penser du tout. C'est très difficile pour moi. Mais il y a des jours où je peux parler français très, très vite, sans penser. Like, there's days where it just flows out. And I know I make mistakes, but there's days where my brain just switches into French. Mais quand je suis fatigué, c'est très, très difficile pour moi. When I'm tired, it's extremely difficult. C'est comme je suis dans C'est quoi? Flaque de boue? Dans le boue. It's like I'm in mud. You ever try walking in mud? Si je suis fatigué, c'est comme je marche dans le boue. La boue? Le boue. It's like I'm walking in mud. It's very hard. I'm sure you have the same experience in English. Let me explain in English. When you're tired, speaking English is like trying to walk in mud. Mud is like dirt with lots of water mixed in, and your feet get stuck in it. That's how I would say. Yeah, attention au féminin masculin, cependant. Ça, c'est la chose la plus difficile pour moi en français. That is the thing that is the most difficult for me in French. I always get them mixed up. Even when I learn la pizza, I say le pizza sometimes. And I think it helps me understand the difficulty that English learners have with things like phrasal verbs. For me in French, the masculine and feminine, that's very challenging. And it's very hard for me to speak in advanced tenses. Like j'aurais dû, those kind of tenses are very hard for me. I have to intentionally think about them. Je pense que c'est pareil pour tout le monde quand on est fatigué. Good job, Bob. Merci beaucoup, lolly lolly. Anyways, enough of me speaking French. Let me see if there are any questions left. Nope. What is it? 8:36. I think we can wrap this up. Cecilia says gender is hard in Spanish too. Yes. I am a French speaker. I have my B2 in French, believe it or not. I have my B1 and my B2. But I still need more training. If I was to go to take a course, I would take a course on, it would almost be on the fundamentals again, or learning my masculine, feminine, and advanced verb tenses. I don't know. Mode says that's unfair. The pizza shouldn't have a gender. That is what my students say in French class as well. Vitor says learn French with Bob the Canadian. Sure. Dear teacher Bob, do pupils learn foreign languages at Canadian schools, or they learn only English as a native language and French as a second language? Thank you. So, Katerina, every Canadian student in an English-speaking province will have some French classes. They don't have, I would say this, most English-speaking Canadians, by the time they're adults, this is going to sound horrible, but they know most of their colors in French. They know how to count in French. They probably know how to ask for directions in French. They probably, if someone spoke French slowly, if they took high school French, they will understand a little bit what they're saying. But students only need to take French until grade 9, so to age 13. And then it is still only about 20 minutes twice a week for the first number of years. It's not extensive by any stretch of the imagination. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up, everyone. Thanks for watching. A Friday morning, not a lesson, but kind of a lesson, answering some of your questions. I hope you have a good Friday. Thanks to Dave for coming out. Thanks to all of you for asking great questions. Thanks to everyone watching on YouTube. Thank you to everyone watching on Facebook. Have a great weekend. And I'll be back on track next week. Things get back to normal. If you're wondering why I had a busy week, a couple of things. One is I was actually sick on Tuesday. I had a sore throat, but it went away very quickly. So I was happy about that. I actually took a day off work. So I was sick. And then we also, our students got report cards this week. That means teachers needed to have all of their work done so the students could get a report on their progress. So I was a little busy with that. But yeah, I had forgotten about Tuesday though. Yeah, I had a bit of a sore throat. Stayed home from work, went away pretty quick. So anyways, let's see in the chat. Vitor, thank you for spending time. No problem. Cecilia, thank you so much. No problem. Ivan, hi dear teacher. Thank you for sharing your English. No problem. Okay, je dois y aller, monsieur. Merci pour la leçon. Bon weekend. Oui. I think we say fin de semaine in Quebec. I don't think we say weekend. In France, you say weekend. But in Quebec, sometimes they have different words. Less English in the Quebec language of French. Know that says thanks for everything. No problem. Freddie Wolf, bye, Bob. Merci beaucoup for all the work you do. Enjoy this Easter long weekend. Yes. And thank you for your videos from Cecilia. I use them in my English class. My students love them. Awesome. Thank you. And then Sita says, thanks a lot. I know I skipped a few there. Merci beaucoup, Bob. You are the best. C'est sincere. Thanks, Lolly. Merci beaucoup. Bye, everyone. Bye, Vitor. Bye, Lolly Lolly. Bye, Alexi. Hey, good to see you, Alexi. Bye to Hafiez, Sean, Know That, Tanya, Key Park, Cecilia. I'm watching the names roll by in the chat right here. If you're watching on Facebook, sorry, I don't see your chat, but bye. Bye to Harry 300. Cecilia, Yaroslav, Spider-Man, Ladane, and first name, last name, Jamilia, Mode Eggs, bye Mode, and everyone else who's watching. Have a great day. I'm going to hit the stop button now and enjoy the rest of my Friday.